Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. Celine Driver once again, bringing you another unboxing and review of a watch that is mine. I traded for this watch. Actually, I got a pretty good deal on the trade. I won't go into details of that because, quite frankly, that's personal. But I did work with my my guy Robert up at European Watch Company. Quick note: in past videos and this video, I have mentioned both European Watch Company and Chrono 24 and the watch forum Watch You Seek. None of those are paid mentions. I am not sponsored by any of those places, although I wouldn't mind it. But I'm not big enough of a channel. But Robert treated my father well for many years. Many years. And treated me well for not as many years, but quite a few. And treated us both well, and now it's just me, unfortunately. But Robert and I have a good working relationship. I actually hope someday I will get to go up to Boston and meet him in person and see the shop, and maybe I'll walk away with a watch. That would be nice. Just buy a watch and say, hey, Robert, I'll fly up there in the next couple of days to pick it up. But what did I get? Well, obviously, I got an Omega. This is a particular version of a watch that I wanted to add to my collection for quite a while, a Moon Watch. As you know, the Omega Speedmaster Moon Watch chronograph was one of the, I think was the first watch on the moon. Anyway, this is a commemorative version of the Moon Watch with a couple of special features to it. It's also a comparatively old watch. In fact, this will probably be roughly the oldest watch in my collection, or maybe the second oldest watch in my collection. The outer box itself is in pretty good shape. Unlike more modern Omegas, the paperwork is somewhat minimal. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm just going to turn this upside down to get it out. As you can see, the watch I am not the original owner. Looks like this watch originated in another country. I'm not sure where. Yala? Subang Padre, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Has a Speedmaster Professional booklet, and I want to make sure I don't show too much of this. It does have a warranty card in various languages. I'm going to cover up this part, but if you can make that out, the date of the original sale was July of 19, or it might be August, depending on how they write the day and the day of the month and the month itself. But July or August of 1994. So this watch is almost 30 years old at this point. And it looks, as you'll see in a moment here, phenomenal. The box is a little bit worn out. You get this special medallion on the box. The box is a little bit worn, but that's okay. You don't wear the box. You wear the watch. And this is a Speedmaster Professional Moon Watch, circa 1994. This is the Apollo 11 commemorative moon watch. This commemorates the first landing on the moon. Apollo 11 was the first moon landing, I believe. God, I'm bad at history. I think it was. Anyway, doesn't matter. It is a manual wind watch. It does have the twist on it that the front crystal is a hesselite, or you could translate that into plexiglass crystal. But the back is an exhibition case back with a sapphire crystal. And you can see that beautiful Omega 863 manual wind movement. And you can see the writing on the perimeter. Beautifully done. Gorgeous watch. I love the. I've never had a hesselite or plexiglass crystal watch before, and I love the way the distortion works with the with the crystal. They have a tachometer scale on the outside, non-movable bezel, as you would expect. You have a chronograph seconds hand here. Your running seconds for the watch is at the 9 o'clock. You have a 12-hour chronograph scale at the 6 o'clock and a 30-minute chronograph scale at the 3 o'clock. Now, the one site I looked at said that these are tritium tubes. They don't act like tritium tubes. When you fire them up with an ultraviolet light, they do have good lume and they do glow, but they do fade. I have some tritium tube watches, and these don't act like tritium tubes, so I really doubt that they are tritium. They don't look really like tritium either. They look like regular applied lume indices, but doesn't matter. It's still a lumed watch. You have a beautiful bracelet here. It's a pin and collar bracelet. Speedmaster with the Omega logo on the clasp. It's a single fold and lock. It just pops nicely. 6 micro adjusts. Now, this thing is on the outermost pin hole, and it barely fits. And the watch didn't come with extra links, so I got lucky. However, I did locate, now stamped on the underside here, I don't know if you can read it. I don't think I'm holding it right here. Hold on. It says 1479. You'll have to trust me on that. It says 1479. I'm pretty sure that that's the model of the bracelet. And I did find one seller on eBay, happened to be in Florida, fortunately, selling a brand new in packaging link. And the links look just like this. With pin, and it is a pin and collar, unfortunately, so I'll have to live with that. So that's on its way, and I'm going to fit that on the watch, and that should give me a little extra room, and then I can play with the micro adjust. But right now, this thing is maxed out, and it's very tight on my. It's not very tight. It's not uncomfortable, but right now I'm indoors, and my wrist is shrunk a little bit, but when I go outdoors and my wrist expands, it becomes a little uncomfortable. So I'm going to put the extra link in and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, at least I have an extra link to put in the box for later. But on my 7.25 inch wrist, this watch, which for its time was considered to be a huge watch when it first debuted back in the 60s, fits me perfectly. Down the barrel shot, you can see that. The overhead shot, it's beautiful. It's comfortable. It wears very, very well. When Robert recommended this version of the Moon Watch to me, He said the manual wind, the Hesalite crystal, the sapphire on the back, the Apollo 11 connection. He said this is the one you should have, because he knew I was looking for a moon watch. I was actually looking for one of those moon watch. They call it Moon to Mars. And on the subdials, instead of black subdials with white text on it, you have images of Mars, Earth, and the Moon. I don't know which order they're in. I'm pretty sure Mars is at the 9 o'clock. That's the one I really want, and I'm still chasing. But he said, barring the fact that I don't have one of those, and I don't know when I'll get one, this version of the Moon Watch is the one I would want to have. I mean, it ticks all the boxes for an authentic moon watch. It's a manual wind. It has the 863 caliber in it. It's the right size. It has a Hesalite crystal instead of being a sapphire sandwich, which is sapphire on top and the bottom. This is a sapphire half sandwich, if you will. He said this is the one I would buy if it were my money. And he almost bought the watch himself, he told me, but he didn't. And for a 30, well, actually, as I make this video, it's a 28-year-old watch, almost 29 years old. And it is in beautiful shape. There's not a mark on the thing. There's not a mark on the clasp. There's not a mark on any of the links. The sides are beautifully done. I don't think this watch has been restored. And the chronograph works beautifully. And when you snap it, reset it, it's a flyback, and it flies back to 0 on all the indicators. The bezel doesn't have a scratch on it. I mean, not that I can see. It's just a beautiful, beautiful watch. And for something that was made in 1994, and I don't know how many owners this thing has had, but it ain't leaving my collection anytime soon. I have my sheet of facts here, so I can tell you more about the watch. As I said, this is the Omega Speedmaster Moon Watch Professional Apollo 11 edition, circa 1994. Reference number is 3592.50.00. To the Omega guys, the Omega, what we call the Omega Melvins, the Omega nerds, that might mean something. All that is to me is a part number. As I said, it has a caliber 863 manual wind. It is a chronograph. Has pretty good power reserve. I think it's about 40 odd hours. It really runs very nicely. Hesalite crystal on the front, sapphire crystal on the back. Tritium style loom tubes. I don't think it's tritium. I mean, it's old enough that the tritium might have worn out, but when you put an ultraviolet flashlight to it, it does light up. So I just think they're made to look like tritium tubes. It does commemorate the first man on the moon. That's why this watch was made. The bezel is aluminum, and aluminum in excellent condition. It just is not a mark on it. It is a 42 millimeter diameter case, 20 millimeter lug. I did measure that. It does taper down to 16 millimeter. That's a pretty sharp taper. But right here, it's 16 millimeter. Those are the removable links there and there. They are pin and collar. So you do need a punch block and a hammer and a little punch doodad to drive them out. And don't lose that collar. Oh, putting a new link on this thing is going to be such fun. I measured this at 47.5 millimeters on the tip-to-tip. And I did measure this at 13.75 thick. It's a very minimal 50 meters water resistance. This is not a watch you want to take swimming. You might get it wet, caught in a rainstorm, washing your hands. You might be able to get away with a quick dip in the pool. I wouldn't submerge this watch, though. I wouldn't submerge it when it was new, and now that it's almost 30 years old, God knows what those seals look like. But I sure am not going to try and test the water resistance on this watch. You have a signed crown, nice, slightly oversized crown, which makes getting a hold of it in between these two piston-style pushers easier to get to. My dad did own an Apollo Moon Watch that we actually traded with EWC for a different watch. It was the one with the silver dial, gray silver dial, with Apollo's image on the face. It was a commemorative as well. I think it was a 50th anniversary or something like that. You couldn't wind the bloody thing. The crown and the pistons were so close together. I couldn't wind it. My dad couldn't wind it. My mom could barely wind it because she has the smallest fingers. The only person in my entire family that ever successfully wound that watch to its full wind was my older daughter, who's got very, very small fingers. But it wasn't fair to call her over all the time to wind the watch, That's not what she wants to be doing. But this watch is easy to wind. It's easy to wind. It's easy to wear. It was a great trade on my part. That was a great trade for European, too. I mean, don't doubt that they knew what they were doing, but I'd like to think I know what I was doing, too. I love the crystal, that big bubble crystal. It's flat, but it has those bubbly sides to it. Really looks great, and the distortion is just very attractive. It's a very attractive watch overall. And glad I finally own one of these things. It's a long time coming. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it to be entertaining, informative, useful. If you did, click that thumbs up button for me. It does help the channel. It does signal to the YouTube search algorithms that my channel has information that other people can use, and it's worth looking into. So that's a good thing. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I do read them all. I do respond to them all. However, if you are going to try to troll me, or you are going to leave links in the comment section to bad places on the internet, I am simply going to delete the comment, and I'm going to block the commenter. If you're new to the channel, of course, welcome. Glad you found the place. Hopefully you'll watch this and other videos and decide that you'll do me a small favor in return for all that great entertainment and click that subscribe button. And when you do, don't forget to click the bell icon too when I upload new material or I do a live stream, you will be alerted. And as I always say at the end of my videos, it is a crazy old world out there. It is not getting any less crazy. Trust me, I know. So please be careful out there. Stay safe. Be well. I'll see you soon.